We can start now. We are live.
Okay. You'll put up the sutra, no?
Yes.
We are repeating 41 and then we'll go on from there. एक मिनट पर टाइम होगा પછી બંધ कर दो Yeah, Ketan, you can start.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We will resume this series on English Yoga Sutra. We are on top 37, which is chapter 1, Sutra 41, part 2. The sutra goes like Sheena Vruttera Bhijatasyev Mane Manera Grahitru Grahan Grahyeshu Tatastha Tadanjanata Samapattihi. You can split the sandhis as Sheena Vrutteha Abhijatasya Eva Maneha Grahitru Grahan and Grahyeshu Tadastha Tada Anjanata Samapattihi. The regular English translation is when the disturbances have diminished, the chitta becomes like a fine jewel. The perceiver, the perception, and the perceived become as one as the chitta focuses on the object and is saturated by it. This is samapattihi. Should we also read the other translations?
Yeah.
An alternative translation, samapatti or transformation or change of direction of the abhijat or nobly born of
This
the
is an alternative
diminishing.
translation we have taken, actually. This is
Okay.
not in any commentary. Nobody has talked about this sutra in this way. But last time I took this also, that this is an alternative translation of this sutra. Right?
Samapatti or transformation or change of direction of the abhijat or nobly born of the diminishing vrittis, kshina vritti.
Right.
Just like a jewel has within it the power of anjan, the power of captivating or enrapturing the beholder, one who is grasping, the process of beholding or grasping, and is worthy of being beheld or grasped.
Well, I have taken this in two ways. The normal translation is that due to Shina Vritti, because the Vrittis have become diminished, the chit takes on the quality of a fine jewel, and whatever comes in front of the chit, that anjanata, it what you call smears the chit with its properties. So the chit takes on the properties of the object in front of it. This is the normal translation. Well, I have also taken a translation that when the chit vrittis calm down, the chit takes a new birth, abhijat, a new birth, or nobly born, the one who has been nobly born out of the diminishing vrittis, right? Because the vrittis have, and just like a jewel, it, what do you call, it hypnotizes the person who is looking at the jewel with its own quality, with its own colors. That is a person who has risen in consciousness. His mind has become like a jewel, and whoever comes in front of him, the light of his mind falls upon that person. That all. So I've taken that also as tad anjantana, smearing the beholder. Here the chitta is smeared by the beholden, and here smearing the beholder. I've just taken that as an alternative translation also, right? And both can be applicable over here, right?
Then Tavariaji's translation, to him whose vrittis or modifications of the mind stuff are entirely controlled, there eventuates a state of identity with and similarity to that which is realized.
Right.
The knower, knowledge, and field of knowledge become one, just as a crystal takes to itself the colors of that which is reflected in it.
So if you put the crystal on a yellow paper, it takes on the color of the yellow paper, right? But what I'm also trying to say is that if there's a crystal which is like a jewel, then it gives its color to the yellow paper also. So I've taken that as an alternative translation, just an alternate translation, right?
And one last translation: the mind of one whose mental and emotional fluctuations have withered away is like a flawless crystal which takes on the hue of whatever it is adjacent to, whether knower, the faculty of knowing, or the knowable object.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, can you scroll down?
Oh,
Acha, okay,
okay, sure, sure. We'll go through this.
right. It's okay. We don't we You want to read the notes or you want me to just go ahead?
No, no. Do you want us to take this word by word meaning, or should we skip it?
Anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Whatever you suggest.
Right.
Okay, we'll skip this.
Yeah. Take my notes, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'll just talk from them. Okay, it's okay. Yeah. So in the last sutra, that is in 40, he talked about the meditative experience which grows from gross to subtle, from big to small. And before that, in Sutras 32 to 39, he talked about Ek Tattva Abhyasa, meditating on one principle. Now, this is a very advanced sutra when he's talking about Shina Vrittya. That is the basic, giving us the basic condition to move forward. Shina Vrittya. That the vrittis have diminished, the vrittis have calmed down quite a bit, right? And because of that, there's a newly born mind, as if it's a crystal jewel, a type of mind. But it may take us some time to come to experiencing these sutras as we practice. But even otherwise, it is a great commentary on the nature of what is going to happen and the nature of the mind. Now, the word he uses over here is samapatti. Samapatti means absorption, a change of direction, an absorption. Now, he he's talking about in this experience the experience of grasping, cognizing. But if we can apply a nirodha at this stage, then it is a very high, what do you call, quality of nirodha. It is like somebody is walking towards me and I can't recognize that person. And as that person comes closer, memory comes in and I recognize that person. Now, before memory comes in, when I had not recognized that person, the mind grasps that something is there, but memory has not yet decoded what is there. Now, if we can pause in that gap, then it is a very high state of nirodha, and we experience the inner grasper, the person who is grasping, and he gives a name to this person who grasps. He is not yet decoded, just he's grasped the incoming impression, right? And without decoding it, and he remains in that gap, and that person he calls as the grahitru, the one who is grasping, the one who is cognizing, the one who is perceiving. It is not yet recognizing. There is no recognition as yet, right? There is a pause between grasping and recognition. So this would be a very, very high state of nirodh, but it is something which he's talking about in this sutra. So samapatti is a state of absorption. In this state, we have an experience of grasping, but we are not decoding the grasping using the memory. Now, the basic condition for attaining this state, Patanjali calls a Shina Vritti. That the vrittis have diminished. Now, we'll try to understand that. Thank you. There's an object in front of the mind, and the mind becomes so absorbed in the object that the feeling of I as separate from the object dissolves into the feeling of the object. Right? So if we go back to Sutra 17, then he says, Vitarka Vichara Ananda Asmita Anugamata Sampragnat. So he talks about 4 stages of samadhi over here. And the last one is Asmita, the feeling of I amness. Now, can we dissolve that feeling of I amness in the object in front of it? And it is possible now because the mind has become crystal clear. There's nothing which is holding I am something, I am a father, I am a mother, or I am a boss, or I am a very learned person, or there is no feeling of I which it wants to, or it can take on the feeling of the I of the object in front of it. I don't know if I'm coming. If I'm not coming across, please do ask questions, right? So it becomes oneness with that. There is a process in which it becomes one, the feeling of the object and the qualities of the object become known without the intervention of memory. Now, supposing I see a flower, I use memory to tell me what kind of flower it is, and there's a thought process involved in naming the flower. This is a rose, right? There's a thought process involved. But here, the qualities of the flower, what do you call, express themselves in the crystal clear mind, and I know the flower without the intervention of memory. Then I may use the memory to name the flower. Right. So this is what he's talking about over here. Now, in the third sutra, he says, Vritti Nirodha Tada Drashtu Swarupe Avasthanam. So in this sutra, he is talking about a very high state of Shina Vritti. He's not talking about Vritti Nirod. So we've not yet come to the state of Drashta. We are coming to the state of Grahitru, the one who is grasping. So in Tada Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam, in the third sutra, the drashta is the one who is standing away, avasthanam, standing away from the mind. In this sutra, he says, tatstha, tatstha. He is standing there in the mind. So he calls this as the grahitru, the one who is grasping. So the vrittis are slowly disappearing. The waves in the mind, the fluctuations in the mind have started calming. The water has started reflecting. It is now crystal clear. The muddy waters have gone away. And this is the state which he calls as Shina Vritti. Now, when there are no fluctuations in the mind, the memory patterns, or what we call the subliminal impressions of past experience, which lie in the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, they do not get what you call uh, an instrumental cause to express themselves because the fluctuations have calmed down. They need the sanskar, the memory pattern, the impression which is lying there. It needs a what do you call thought process to express itself. It needs an emotional process. But both the thoughts and emotions have calmed down. There is the energy of sensitivity, and slowly the feeling of I dissolves into the object in front of it. If we remember what Krishnamurti used to say, the observer is the observed, right? So this is what happens over here. So in vritti nirodh, he uses the word avasthanam. Here he uses the word tatstha. In both he uses the word stha, standing there, but standing away, and tat, standing there, right? So
One second.
grahitru is the one who grasps, grahan karna, cognizes. He is not the one who is standing away and observing. It is still the consciousness is in the mind. And when it takes on the quality of that, the object in front of it, he calls this as samapatti. Now, samapatti is a Buddhist word. Patanjali has taken it definitely from Buddhism. And he's not saying samadhi. In Buddhism, samapatti and samadhi mean the same thing. Here, he is going to take us into different forms of samadhi later. But the basic condition for entering those forms of samadhi is samapatti. So, the meaning of the word samapatti is the absorption of the feeling of I amness into the feeling of the object. So, the I takes on the qualities, the feeling of the object. Now, let us try to understand this in a little practical way, right? What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to play the music of three-step rhythmic breathing. And for a couple of minutes, we'll just close our eyes and try to breathe with the rhythm.
Should we play that? Should I play that music?
Pardon?
Should I play the music?
You can't hear this?
No, that'll be because Zoom does automatic background noise cancellation. So we'll have to share the audio.
How to switch this off?
So
Right.
I'll
Okay.
do
How
it.
will you share it?
I'm doing it right now
Okay.
from my computer.
Oh,
Just
sorry,
let
I
me know
didn't
if
know. I
you're
thought the music goes automatically. Yeah.
let me know if you're able to hear it.
Can you make it a little soft?
Can you hear it?
Yeah, can you make it softer?
Volume is very
Okay,
high.
softer. 1 second.
अभी थोड़ा
Is
और
this
कम.
okay?
अभी थोड़ा और कम. I think
Yeah.
that's okay.
अब बराबर है?
Yeah. You can hear my voice? Can you make it a little softer still?
Okay, still softer? Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll try, just close our eyes and breathe with the music. Focus on the rhythm as if we are flowing with the rhythm. The breath is going in and out. Let the breath become very soft and subtle. Just flow with the rhythm. Feel the breath moving in and out. And just a gentle wave-like movement of the rhythm, as if the waves of the sea are moving and you're dissolving into them. It's a gentle, calm sea, a calm mind. Feel yourself taking on the quality of gentleness. Or concentrating on the movement of the sea. Music is not proper. Just take on the quality of the motion of the waves. And let the feeling of I dissolve into that wave-like movement. As if you have become the ocean. You have become the rhythm. Feel the mind becoming totally gentle as the calm sea. And in that absorption, there is a slight sensitivity of the person who is grasping, and there is a slight sensitivity of the rhythm, but the feeling of I has nearly totally dissolved. This is the state of thतदञ samapatti, the state of the mind being crystal clear and being smeared by the rhythm, the waves of the rhythm. Okay, slowly we can come back. Switch off the music. So this can be practiced anywhere. We are sitting in the garden, we can dissolve into the wind. We are looking at a blade of grass, we can dissolve into the blade of grass. Right? And in this, as the meditation deepens further, the mind is only aware of the object with a slight sensitivity that I am experiencing this. This is the grahitru. And there's a slight sensitivity of the object, the rhythm, that is the grahyeshu. And just we have dissolved into the grahan, the process of what do you call uh, the process which is happening. He has used grahyeshu is grahya, and it becomes what do you call plural in grahyeshu. The whatever objects come in front of the mind. And as we go deeper, then both the traces will slowly, what do you call, dissolve. There'll be no grahitru and there'll be no grahyeshu. There'll be only the process of grahan inside, and we'll be totally, what do you call, and that is the state of absorption, samapatti. And this can be practiced anywhere throughout the day, wherever we get time, we can practice this and try to reach this state of what he calls samapatti. There's just pure awareness of the qualities of the object. That is, when the mind and the object merge, the mind takes on the qualities of the object. This complete absorption, what do you call, Patanjali calls as samapatti. Now, if it is a gross object, the mind dissolves in a gross object. If it is a subtle object like love, the mind dissolves in a subtle object. And if it is a very subtle object where we may feel that there is no breath, and the breath has become so subtle and it can dissolve in that feeling of emptiness also, the most subtle object. And that we saw in the last sutra, 40. Parmanu param mahatva antu asya vashikara. That his control has come from the most gross to the most subtle. We saw that in the last thing. The whole of darshan, yoga darshan, is how to give a person darshan, that is a perception of reality, which is a perfect experience without the intervention of thought, without the intervention of feeling, without the intervention of memory. And so we are now progressing slowly on that path where we are able to absorb ourselves into the object and learn that object, take on the qualities of that object, get knowledge of that object. There's a process of knowing grahitru without the intervention of memory, without the intervention of thought, just through sensitivity and deep feeling. The clearer the mind becomes, Shina Vritti, the deeper and the closer the experience of the reality of the. And so we are experiencing life not through thought, but through its, what you call, immediate reality. Now, something happens over here. Something happens over here. And in that moment of samapatti, in that moment where we are totally dissolved, our attention is totally dissolved into the object which we are experiencing or looking at, where there is no feeling of I, the feeling of I amness has gone away nearly. There's just a slight sensitivity of the grahitru, right? There's no intervention of memory. Something happens with attention over there. I've said this before. If somebody can say what it is, what happens with attention over there? What happens with attention over there?
It reflects back, it folds back.
Yes, the attention, it falls upon itself. It folds back upon itself. It folds back upon. Now, attention is the quality, is a what do you call the what do you call? It is an attribute of consciousness. Consciousness, attention, and will are three primal attributes, right? They belong to the soul. So the soul experiences life through attention. It throws attention on objects, and attention gets attached to objects, which we call as attachment. But now the attention is dissolved in the object and it is nowhere to go. So it reflects back on the source. And in that, if we have attained this, then there will be a, what do you call, it will move back to the grahitru and it will move back even further. And we may have a glimpse of tada drashtuhu swarupe avastha. We may have a glimpse of the drashta inside because the attention has come out of the drashta to experience the world. Now the attention is dissolved in the object of the world, and so it will fold back and go to back to where it has come from. And in that we may get a slight glimpse of the inner drashta, right? The seer within. So when attention is absorbed in the source, in its object, it goes back to its source, is reflected to its source. And this is the moment of realization. Right? It has nowhere to go. It has no function to perform attention. It is totally free attention. And free attention goes back to the source from where it came, and you get an experience, a glimpse of the inner seer inside. This is the state of what he calls this glimpse, which we get as samapatti, right? There is now, and that glimpse leads to a change of direction in our lives. Now that we start valuing that glimpse more than everything else in our lives, right? And it becomes the most important thing. Now, what do we mean by grasping, right? So we says we'll just take this, that matter affects the body-brain system in what do you call 5 different ways, right? But we can say life and consciousness, right? Consciousness experiences life in 4 different ways: through thinking, feeling, sensing, and moving. Well, now through sensing, again, matter, what do you call it? Affects the consciousness in 5 different ways. That is through seeing, through hearing, through touch, through smell, and through sensing of the skin or feeling. Now, when an object is brought in front of the mind, right? When an object is brought in front of the mind which was like a, what do you call, calm ocean, a calm sea, it divides itself into 2 parts. Actually, the manas goes out of the 5 senses and takes the shape of the object and brings it back into the mind, and the mind takes the shape of that object. This taking the shape of that object and presenting it to the seer inside is what is called as vritti, called as vritti. So the mind divides itself into two parts, the seeing part and the seen part. The inner seer, the inner divine, divinity, the divine fragment, it cannot experience life directly. It has to experience through the mind. So the mind is the agent, the grahitru is the agent for the, what do you call, the inner seer to experience life. So the experience is done through the instrument of the mind, right? The mind has been given so that the mind takes the experience and presents it to the seer inside. The mind is divided into two parts, the object part and the seeing part, right? The object which is seen is called as earth. Now, like we said, when that object comes in front of the mind, there is first a grasping of the object. There is first a grasping of the object. Just he notices that something is there. What is there, he doesn't know as yet. Just there is a noticing of something. Now, once he notices it, then an ideating process starts in the mind. Once there is the inner grasping, the grahitru, there is an ideating process which happens in the mind, which takes on the form of thought form and then verbal thoughts, and then with memory, the thing is named and we name it. This naming is called as shabda. This naming is called as shabda. Now, we may feel that the sthul object and the sukshma object are different, but actually the sukshma object is nearly a copy of the sthul object. And so we can call that what we are looking at is not the outside object, but the object which has been recreated in the mind. From there, an ideating process starts. In Patanjali calls this ideating process as vikalpa, and it will be taken in the next sutra, vikalpa. He'll take that in the next sutra. So the physical object and the object in the mind, they correspond to each other. The mind is the graha, what do you call? Grahak. It is the one which is cognizing. Now, the object which is cognized is called as grahya, which we called as artha, but it is called as the grahya over here, and the process is called as grahan. Now, instead of the word grahak, Patanjali has used the word grahitru. So he's saying something different here. Now, we can understand this in a different way. That supposing I am giving you food, giving a person food. So that person takes the food, then he is the grahak, the food is the grahya, and the process of giving is the grahya issue. Then why has he used the word, instead of grahak, he has used the word grahitru over here? So here he's trying to give us a message over here. Now, I can give food to a person whose stomach is full, and I can give food to a person who is hungry, who needs the food. So the person who needs the food is deserving of the food. Both are grahak, both grahan, both take in the food. Both accept the food, the process of accepting the food, right? But The one who was hungry and needs the food is grahitru. He is deserving of the food. That person is grahak. So here Patanjali has not used the word grahak. That I hope I'm coming across in this. These are subtle differences which I'm just trying to, what do you call, bring in front of you.
Can you please just elaborate on this point?
Huh?
Can you please elaborate on this point, the grahak versus grahitru point?
So the normal person we would use is grahak, the one who accepts. Je grahan kare. In Gujarati we would say. The one who accepts. So, but in grahitru, he not only accepts, but he is deserving of accepting. Is it coming across what I'm trying to say? Right?
Yes, yes.
So here Patanjali is saying that this grahitru has come through a long process of what do you call Shina Vritti, of calming the vrittis. You have gone through a long process of meditation to come to this grahitru, this person, this grahitru. So he's not an ordinary grahak. He's not an ordinary customer taking what you give him, right? He's a deserving customer. He's a deserving customer, grahitru, right? And because in that, with that glimpse of the grahitru, a change of direction is going to come in our lives. So it is a very high state of consciousness, right? So he's trying to give us a message over here. Yes, the normal word which is used for explaining this is grahak, but he has used the word grahitru, the one who is deserving of grasping. Not just the person who grasps inside, but he's deserving of grasping. And I don't know whether I can make it more clear, but I think you understood what I'm saying.
Thank you.
Another word is worthy of.
Worthy of, right? Worthy of.
Eligible.
Eligible. Worthy. So any perception of any object is what do you call dependent upon the simultaneous functioning of the mind as the person grasping and as the object which is being grasped. Both are in the mind, and the process is happening in the mind. Everything is happening in the and the mind is the instrument, and the grahitru is the instrument of the divine fragment. It gives the experience inside. Now, once there is a grasping inside, there is a movement in the mind, and the vrittis move to different levels. So from that, there is sankalp vikalp, what we call the ideating movement of thought energy, right? And here again, we can bring about a nirodh. Now, this nirodh is little lower than the nirodh which Patanjali is talking about, right? But it is still a form of nirodh where we we sense the thought energy creating the thought, and we pause the thought. We don't allow the thought to happen, right? We can stop there. Or the thought form happens, and before the thought form becomes a verbal word or in language, we pause the language and we just hold the impression without the addition of language. And then the language comes in and we name the object. We have to name the object because that shows that we have understood what we have seen. The understanding and naming come together. So in the first phase, there is a grasping. Then there's an ideating movement, which he calls as vikalpa. In the second phase, the mind decodes the object with the help of memory and creates a thought picture, a thought form. And in the third step, the mind understands the object and names it. And this naming is done verbally first in the mind and then expressly through the mouth and language, both in the mind in language and out expressly as language. And each of these processes, if we can pause at each, then it is still a form of nirodh, which we went through in Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita. Now let us go into the sutra. Look at the sutra. Shina Vritte abhijatasya eva manihi grahitru grahana grayeshu tatstha tad anjanta samapattiḥ. So like we said, the basic condition is the vrittis have calmed down. Now the next few sutras are all on samapatti. Now he's starting the series of samapatti, and the next one is 42. From 32 to 39, he took ek tattva abhyas, that is calming the chitta, bringing the state of shina vritti, and then that calming the chitta gave us a quality of control which he took in 40. Vritti means behavior, a repetitive behavior, something which has been come out of a memory pattern. The English word is modification, and modifications we have seen happen at different stages. Abhijat, newly born, from the word jana, to be born. It is the past participle, abhijat, that which has been born, but not just born, not born like an amoeba. It is born from a womb. Is born from a womb. Or the purely born, the one who is pure, born pure, the nobly born. So, abhi is used in the sense of being extremely clear, excellent. Abhi also means towards, so towards purity, towards crystal clearness. So here we must understand that the emotional center has been totally clear. We are free of negative emotions. I don't know how many of you are attending our Sunday class in English on the purpose of birth and death. I would request you to attend that. In that, Tavariaji side says we cannot move further unless we have cleared the emotional center of negative emotions. It does not, because every time we rise a little in consciousness, the negative emotions, the gravity of the negative emotions will pull us back down. And so we have to be free of negative emotions, free of reaction. Only then can we move higher into higher states of consciousness. So now we are giving birth, abhijat, giving birth to a new chitta. And this chitta is like a crystal clear diamond, a crystal clear jewel, right? Now, the definition of abhijat contains the word prashastham. It is worthy of praising. In the Mahabharata, every time a dev appears or somebody of higher birth or nobly born appears, before the Mahabharata moves forward, describing the events of what happened, there is a stuti praising that. This is prashastham. So he's saying this new chitta which has been born because of Shina Vritti is praiseworthy. It is so excellent. It is so, what do you call, of great value. It is auspicious. So prashastham comes from the root shas, to praise. Prashansa karo. So that some abhimatam, that which is desired, that which is praiseworthy, such a chit has been born. Now, intrinsic in this, that it has been born for a special purpose. And that purpose is to help us to go into higher states of consciousness. This new chit possesses outstanding qualities. So it is a start of a new journey which he is going to take us in the next few sutras. Now, what is the immediate purpose of giving birth to this new chitta through the process of Shina Vritti? So, for the immediate purpose is that we can now experience in the mind, because He is standing there, tatstha, standing there in the mind. He can experience these three as totally separate. The grahitru, grahan, and grahyeshu. When we accept something from someone, we don't experience the three as separate. But now, because of this high state of consciousness, if you remember in Sutra 18, he had said Viram Pratyay, that there is an experience of a gap between one pratyaya and another pratyaya. That was in 18, we had taken that. Similarly, he's saying over here that now there is a gap between the person who is accepting, or that part of the mind which is grasping. There's a gap between the object which is being grasped, and there's a gap between the process of all three can be now experienced separately. That is why this is a very high state of consciousness. Because of this, because we can our mind, our attention becomes three-dimensional in this state. That is, if we sense the outward, we can sense the object. We understand the properties of the object being sensed. If we dissolve into the process, we understand the process of sensing, the process of grahan. And if we put sensitivity on the person who is cognizing inside, the grahitru inside, we understand the process of knowing, what goes into the process of knowing. So three things can be experienced as separate experiences in the mind. And in the last, we can dissolve into the process of just knowing, just the very process itself. So there is no I consciousness. And we then, in that, the attention goes back to the seer and the objects. Tad anjanta. The mind gets speared. Anjan, anju. We apply that anjan, right? Anju. Tad anjanta, right? The mind is smeared by the properties of the object, and the properties of the object become clear to us. We see reality, we see the fact of life, we see nature around us without the intervention of memory. We understand the leaf not as a leaf which we have learned from some language as a book. We understand what its place in the whole vision of life is, in the whole process of nature is, and what its relativity is in that process. So this gives us the power to throw attention and sensitivity either on the object, either on the process of grasping, or on the grasper inside, and we can understand all three together.
So, Rajan bhai, then can we say that these are stages? The bottommost stage is Vritti Sarupya. Then there is the state of divided attention. Then there is the state where we are able to now put attention on each of those three things, and then further higher stages.
So there's a stage of Vritti Sarupyam.
Hmm.
There's a stage of where we pause the word,
Yeah.
Vitarka. Then we pause the thought form, Vichara. In pausing the thought form, there's a feeling of Anand. There's an experience, and we say, who is experiencing that Anand? We say, Asmita, I am, right? And now we learn to dissolve that I am into the very object in which we are observing, right? And in that, the three processes of observing, the observer, and being what is being observed, they open up in front of us. They open up in front of us, right?
Thank you.
So the citta is tatstha, standing there, stable there in these three. What do you want to investigate? What do you feel like investigating? Do you want to investigate the properties of the object? Do you want to investigate the properties of grasping the object? Or do you want to investigate the grasper inside so he can give you a glimpse of what is beyond the grasper? What would you like to experience? And that opens up in front of us, right? And so it is tad anjanta. It can be smeared by the properties of the object. It can be smeared by the properties of the process of grasping the object. It can be smeared by the properties of the person who is grasping inside. In the last series, we had talked about pratyak chetana, attention moving in. And now, because of this moving in of attention does not have to be done, what you call, through effort. The very process of absorption allows attention to move back to its source. It now becomes spontaneous. The inner movement of attention becomes spontaneous. And we can then direct attention to the presence beyond the grahitru, bring about a sensitivity of the seer inside. Now, here there is a waking up of the mind. When this inner attention moves back to the source, till now, mind thought that it owned attention. And because mind thought it owned attention, it owned will, and it had the power to know, there was a false feeling of I in the mind called the ego. Now, in this process, as attention moves back to the seer inside, there is a suddenly the mind wakes up. I am just an instrument. I am an instrument of the divine consciousness. I am not the knower inside. I become the knower to give the what you call experience of knowing to something higher inside. So, this process, we can try to practice this in every experience in life. If there is experience of pleasure, dissolve in the pleasure. If there is experience of joy, dissolve in the experience of joy. If there is experience of pain or suffering, try to dissolve in the pain or suffering. Each moment, as we move into that object, as we are absorbed in that object, there is samapatti, and attention moves back. Right. Right. So, there is an inner feeling of being worthy of something higher in this. And that is why he uses the word grahitru. So in this process, the process of grasping, the process of knowing, right? And all come into one, and we understand this process. Right? Now just we'll take this word samapatti. Tad anjanata, to be smeared by, right? We took that. And then we take the word samapatti. Whenever in life we face an obstacle, we call it as vipatti. When obstacles come from all sides and nothing is falling into place, everything is going wrong in our life, we call it as apatti. And when everything falls into place, everything dissolves into the process of knowing that object, we call it as samapatti. Everything has now fallen into place. Now, I want to just add something over here, right? Because apatti means it is effortlessness, Jitendra. Right? Apatti means misfortune. That misfortune from all sides, apatti. And if you can sense that and remain in that tatstha and take on the qualities, then suddenly you will be free of that apatti and you'll rise above it. I won't go further in the sutra, but I'll just try to take something over here which may be helpful to us. In the sense that here we are talking about moving into a higher state of consciousness, right? But if we can learn this art of absorbing in whatever object which comes into us, in front of us, then everything else in our life will fall into place together. That is what I'm trying to say. I'm not just talking about our spiritual life. I'm talking about our normal, ordinary life. If we can practice this samapatti, what do you call, allowing ourselves to be totally absorbed in the object of even that which is giving us pain, then slowly over a period of time in our life, things will start falling into place together. Because the very meaning of the word samapatti is everything falls into place together. And the meaning of the word apatti is everything out of place together. I'm going to stop over here. If there are any questions, I'll take questions. Right?
Sir, I have some. I have 2-3 questions.
Please,
I
please.
remember in some earlier sutras you had said that when one is experiencing severe pain or grief, it is not. I had asked that question. It's not enough just accepting your prarabdha karma, but you have to transform yourself. There are much deeper lessons, and if that is done, it carries a lot of weight, and it has stood me in great stead. But the thing is, memory from I recollect certain scary situations in my life, and when that thought gets hold of my mind, it's very difficult to get over it because it's like possessing the mind. I use my intellect, what I've studied, what I've read. It is like a tussle, like wrestling, and the mind is very tough to control. How do we, with this knowledge of the sutras that you have given here, it is not a physical pain or a mental suffering, it is a memory that is tormenting. How do we overcome that? I know these sutras are a knowledge bank, but how do I apply it in my real life to make this knowledge a tool to control my mind?
Supposing I'll talk about my personal experience.
Okay, sir.
If you don't mind.
Yes.
Supposing somebody in my life, somebody very close to me cheated me. Right? And I felt very hurt. So say I'm talking about, say, 20, 25 years ago, right? And that thought would never leave me, right? And that thought kept on tormenting me. And then I came to an understanding that every time the thought comes, practice dropping the thought. Right? And it took me 2-3 years of continuous practice to come to a state where there was a gap and I was relaxed in that gap where the thought would not come. Can you understand what I'm trying to say?
Very well, sir.
Okay. It's a simple practice, but a very difficult practice. The practice is very simple. Don't divert your mind on anything else, 3-step rhythmic breathing or any other practice. Hold awareness in the mind and say, every time this thought comes, I want to drop that guy. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Right? Because if you're diverting the mind, then you're applying balm. The cause of pain is not going to go with the Vicks Vaporub.
It becomes a band-aid.
You understand? So we don't want to apply Vicks Vaporub, right? We want to observe that thought and drop it. And initially, we don't have the will to drop it. Right? But as we keep on practicing, months and months, we keep on practicing, a point comes where we can drop the thought. And an empty space comes in. Right? Out of that, a whole lot of understanding comes out of that empty space. You understand?
Yes,
right?
sir.
Now, I'm just saying this, don't take it literally. I'm just saying, right? An understanding comes that if, say, somebody had cheated you, I may or may not have felt it. But because it cheated see, the event is the same. Whether it cheated you or cheated I, the event is the same. Can you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But because it happened with I, right? I got attached to the, what do you call, event.
Yes, yes.
And
We
I
are
kept
very
holding
often attached to our faults also.
and I kept holding on to the event. Now, can I drop it? That this is happening to thousands of people at the same time. And out of that, I use that as a stepping stone to a very high state of consciousness. That one event in my life transformed everything. On that, I've given a whole lecture on how to approach money. Right? Because then a point came in my life where money started talking to me. Right? And the money is telling me that, why are you getting upset? I wanted to go there. That's why I went there. I have my own will. Right? Because the I is involved, I think this is my money. Can you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes,
But
sir. Yes,
that
sir.
understanding will come later. But we
Yes.
want to do only one thing. When the thought comes, be aware, drop it. When the thought comes, be aware, drop it.
Yes.
Right?
So
In
the
that
thing
dropping, then hold on to 3-step rhythmic breathing,
Mm.
what you call tense and relax the muscles. Use that to extend the gap between the what do you call the attack of one thought and the second attack. Right? And you'll what years of meditation cannot do, 2 years will do for you. You'll be free of everything.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. So in this case of a person behaving badly, there is always a possibility of doing forgiveness practice. Think of all the good things about that person, and so
See,
on and so forth.
first come to an understanding.
It's the physical pain. I have had serious illnesses. So when now I'm going through some physical pain myself, some arthritis problem, the memory of the pain I went earlier is like a thick blanket on my mind. And that leads to fear.
See, what is the name of this sutra? What is this sutra?
Yes,
Shina
exactly.
Vrittya.
Yes.
She, that which decays.
Mm.
It comes from the word she, that which decays.
Yes.
That is aging all the time.
Mm.
The body is aging all the time. Right? Now it's no longer a what do you call car which has come out of the showroom.
Yes.
Right? It needs all kinds of repairs. Your
Yes.
body needs repair, my body also needs repairs. The very fact that I could not start this for after such a long time I started is because of my physical problems.
Mhm.
Okay. So everybody's body needs repairs after some time. Right? So just take it that the body is an instrument. It is not the what do you call aim of life.
I'm not the body.
Yeah. Just use it as an instrument. So
Mm.
bring in understanding. Bring in understanding. That does not mean we don't feel pain. We feel pain, right? But the understanding that we have to pass through this pain and we endure it. We don't complain about it.
Mm.
Right?
We have to use our knowledge and intellect to overcome.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, sir. I'm so grateful for the help.
All the
It's for
best.
me very real. It's very real for me. Oh.
Good.
Hello, good evening, sir. Nita here, Amish wife again.
Who?
Nita from
Oh,
India.
you.
Yes, sir. I have a question. I heard that as if everything goes wrong, that is apathy. So during apathy, could you please elaborate how could we dissolve it with pain and suffering? So I have confusion in this.
See, first of all, is responsibility,
Ji,
understanding,
ji,
right?
yeah,
And you see, it's very difficult to understand the events of life,
ji,
right? So we have this beauty. You see, we have these shastras, which shastras tell us many things, right?
ji,
So
ji,
in the Bhagavad, we have a beautiful, what do you call, scene where next day Akrura is going to come to take Krishna to Mathura. He comes to
ji,
Vrindavan to take, right?
ji, 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 ji.
And Krishna knows that next day Akrura is coming. But one day prior to
Hmm,
Akrura coming, Narad comes to meet Krishna.
ji,
And Narad then tells him that he gives a whole list of events that these are the events of your life.
Ji.
He tells Krishna.
Yes.
And he tells Krishna, you have no choice. You have to go through these events.
Okay, yeah.
You understand? Huh?
Yes, sir, I got it. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got it? Now, before we were
Yes.
born, when the soul was being born,
Yeah. Yeah.
the soul had already invited all the events in our life.
Oh my God. I
Right?
got it.
You
Yes.
got it? So who is
Yes, sir.
responsible?
Yes.
The
Me.
mother-in-law is not responsible.
No, no, not at all. It's me.
Husband is not responsible.
Ji.
Right? Only
Yes,
I
sir.
am responsible because I have invited it.
Yeah. Right, right.
Now, if I
Yes.
put the blame on somebody else,
Oh
I
my
say
God. Yeah.
you gave me pain, you are like this, then all I'm
Yes.
doing is inviting it again.
Oh my goodness.
Can you understand?
Yes, sir. Very
I'm just
clearly now I
giving
got.
I'm just giving food for repetition of the cycle.
Ji.
Right? So
Yes,
the
sir.
understanding that everything which comes in my life can only come through my invitation. I've already invited it before I was born. Krishna had no choice. He could not change the events of his life. But each event of life, he extracted the makhan from it. He extracted the cream from it.
Yes.
You have a choice the event you cannot change, but you have a choice of how to live the event.
Have to. Yeah.
Can you live the event with consciousness? Can you
Yes.
live the event with softness? Can you live the event without expressing negativity?
Oh my
Can you,
God. Yeah.
can you live the event remembering that you want to use this event as a stepping stone to a higher state of consciousness?
Ji. Yes. Yeah.
And the minute you complain, the minute you find fault, it is going to come again. And when it comes back, it will come with 100 intensity.
Oh my God. Yeah. Very true, sir. I
So,
feel that. Yeah.
right.
Yes.
So, first of all, is responsibility that I
Yes.
have invited it. Second is
Yes.
understanding that it is
Yes.
for my growth that I have invited it. And
Yeah.
I have to pass through it, endure it, and
Ji.
rise above it.
Ji. Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
So, when the object to be grasped and the process of grasping and the one who grasps, they become one. So, is it the state of pure UDM?
See, pure mind as pure UDM, it modifies itself so it can grasp. There is still one step before pure UDM, between this and pure UDM.
Okay.
This is the process of grasping. The very
Right.
mind which has already divided itself into two. That if you, when you can, your nirodh does not allow the mind to divide itself into two. Right? I would like to add over here, which I have not said, that the prism exercise is very important in reaching this state, in this state of consciousness. Very, very important, the prism exercise. So when you put the prism on yellow paper, tad anjantana, it takes on the color of yellow. Similarly, the mind takes on the color of what is in front of it. But like I said, I've also taken a, what do you call, another interpret. The mind has become such a beautiful jewel that it throws its light on whoever comes in front of it, and it hypnotizes whoever comes in front of it. That person is awed by the beauty of the mind. That person's consciousness gets awed by the beauty of the mind. That is just a separate, what do you call, it's not the normal this thing, but
And then that is the state of UDM when
yes,
it enraptures.
it
Yeah.
is a state of Sheen Vritti. Sheen of Vritti. We have not yet reached Vritti Nirodh. We have not yet reached Vritti Nirodh.
Thank you.
Shall we stop here? Hema Ben, should we stop?
Ji, sir.
We can stop here. Okay. We'll meet the following Saturday, not next Saturday, Saturday after that.
So 16th August?
16th August, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh? So 16th
Ninth is Rakhi.
9th is Rakhi.
Yeah. So we won't be having session on 9th.
Yeah. We'll meet on
Okay.
16th August.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. Okay, sir.
All the best, everyone. Good night. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajan Bhai.
Thank you, Rajan Bhai. Jai
Right, good
Bhagwan.
night. Good night.
Thank you.